The father's role is not to vanish but prepare. Sons inherit not only the staff but the story. Legacy is lived when wisdom walks beside strength. The circle of elders sits beneath the wide oak tree, their faces marked by the wisdom of years. The fire between them crackles, throwing long shadows across the ground. Elder Tavan, lost in thought, finally speaks, his voice heavy with sorrow. Why is it that so many fathers walk away from their sons? Why do children wander as though they have no roots? What has broken us so deeply? How did we come to forget who we are? Elder Sion, seated nearby, turns his head. His gaze is steady, but his voice carries the weight of generations. Tavan, this is deeper than what we see or what we are told. We have forgotten, not because the truth was lost, but because it was twisted by a few. A minority changed the meaning of what was given to us, turning what was meant for life and freedom into chains. And we, the many, followed blindly. We forgot where we come from. That is how we arrived here. He leans forward, his tone sharpened. We were dragged here, and it ends now. The circle falls into silence. The elders bow their heads, reflecting on the truth in Sion's words. Pilgrim's stories of the other world rise in their minds. The wars, the divisions, the endless striving for power at the expense of peace. Sion does not leave them in despair. He straightens, eyes fierce yet full of hope. Elder Sion continues. Even now, we can choose. We can pick ourselves up one day at a time. We can remember what was planted in us from the beginning: unity, love, and peace. That is our way back. That is our protection against the lies that divide. He pauses, then speaks slowly, as though calling upon an ancient spirit. We need the elephant spirit. The elephant never forgets. It remembers the paths of its ancestors. It remembers the watering holes in times of drought. It remembers the bonds of its family and protects them fiercely. That spirit we must carry within us, to remember who we are, to guard what is precious, and to walk together in strength. The elders nod. Some close their eyes, picturing the great elephant, steady, wise, unshaken. In that moment, hope stirs. Forgetfulness had brought them low, but remembrance could raise them up. Pilgrim, sitting quietly at the edge of the circle, is finally invited to speak. He raises his head, his voice low but resolute. Elders, you asked why fathers abandon their sons. Xenos told me this story. They came as a minority and took the land piece by piece. They placed chains on bodies and chains on minds. They forced labor from hands that once knew freedom. And when the whips were no longer enough, they sought to weaken us further, by dividing fathers from sons. For if the son does not know his father, the son does not know his strength. That curse is still with us. Maybe that's why I was taken. Many fathers remain chained, not by iron, but by fear, by anger, by burdens too heavy to carry. And so they leave. But the cost is too high. For when the fathers are absent, the legacy is broken, and the children's children wander without identity. A murmur ripples through the elders. Tavan bows his head deeper. Sion watches Pilgrim closely, then nods for him to continue. Pilgrim, voice rising. We cannot condemn, for condemnation only deepens the wound. But neither can we ignore. This is not a small matter. It requires wisdom, courage, and unity. Women have carried the burden, raising boys as though they were daughters, and daughters as though they were sons, because they had no choice but to provide. Anger has filled our hearts, and it is justified. Yet anger must be channeled into building. Greed has eaten at us, but even greed can be transformed into hunger. Hunger for a better Africa, thirst for a future unbroken. The fire flares as if echoing his conviction. Pilgrim rises to his knees, hands stretched toward the flames. We must write to the Konfas, the elders of the other world. We must join forces, for they are not alone. Their struggle is our struggle. Their chains drag us too. They are our brothers. Foreigners? No, but family. We are bound by the same pain, the same scars. And if we do not act, if we allow fathers to keep abandoning sons, then we hand victory to the same minority who twisted the truth long ago. The elders exchange solemn glances. Elder Sion finally speaks, his tone strong, final, unyielding. Then we make this vow. We will not allow things to go on as if nothing happened. Because something did happen, and it scarred our ancestors, and it scars us still. We also show them that we did not forget, we remember the commandment. But now we know better. Now we rise. We will protect the sons, guard the daughters, heal the fathers, and honor the mothers. Together we will form an alliance, for the commandment, for our children's children, for the legacy that will not die. The fire roars as though bearing witness. The oak tree sways gently, as if in agreement. And under its branches, the elders and pilgrims seal their vow, not just for themselves, but for the generations to come. This is the war we must fight. Not with weapons, but with memory, wisdom, and faith. We must remember where we come from, so that we do not lose sight of who we are. We must embrace our sons, not only our own, but every son, and train them to rise higher, to lead stronger, to be better men than we have been. Our calling is to plant them so deeply in truth, honor, and faith that no one can uproot them, that nothing can steal what rightfully belongs to them. We must trust them with the legacy, not by holding on too tightly, but by believing in their strength and guiding them with love. Every child is our child. Every son is a provider, a protector, a bearer of tomorrow. Let us raise them, protect them, and prepare them. Not just for today, but for the future of our children's children.